I have a problem with my ego. We talked about it before, but we're going to talk about it again because killing the ego to feed and strengthen the humble mind is a process and it's a journey. It doesn't happen overnight. I don't think I personally am super cocky or overconfident like you would assume somebody with a big ego is. In fact, sometimes it's quite the opposite. But what I do struggle with is my temper. Losing to playstyles that I feel I should be beating and that I subsequently will lose my little ranked badge, my little ranked guy in the corner, sometimes pushes me over the edge and my emotions override what my mind tells me. And I feel that has everything to do with my ego and how I perceive myself and how I feel others perceive me when they watch me play. Hey, I'm genuinely trying to hit 10,000 subs by the end of this year. I know it's a lot of people. I don't know if it's realistic or possible, but it's a goal I've set for myself and I'd really like to hit it. So if you enjoy this video by the end, I hope you'll consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. Logically, I know that you can't win them all. You won't win them all. So why do I place any value on wins? The answer is you shouldn't, but that's so much easier said than done when you lose to a Ken player rushing you down with run stops, heavy DPs, random DPs, and the whole nine. Your logic goes out the window and you feel like a goddamn idiot. You beat yourself up and then the announcer comes over the speakers and he says you lose with those big fucking gray letters that we all hate. And your little points countdown and your badge you worked so hard for disappears. And in that moment, you have two courses of action. Raw anger and it overpowers you, you rage, whatever form that takes for you. If it's slamming your desk, if it's yelling out into the ether, whatever it is that you do when you rage. Or you realize I shouldn't be mad for losing what I did not deserve because at the end of the day, you could not rise to the occasion and that game took your little precious rank away from you and left you defeated because of your own actions. And it's not the rank or the loss that's important, it's the lack of knowledge and the holes in your game that led to this outcome. This is what separates people chasing ranks and students who are chasing something far greater. And I think this is part of maturing as a person, as a player, and as a competitor. We all want to be the highest rank that we can possibly be until we realize that we just want to be the best student that we can be. We want to be the best learner that we can be. We want to understand why these things are going wrong and how we can fix them because the ignorance is turning into anger. It's no longer bliss. It's no longer, I don't understand the game, so I'm going to mash buttons and have fun. It's, I understand the game to a capacity and I don't want to mash buttons and have fun anymore. I want to press meaningfully and I want to understand why I do this in this situation or why he does this in this situation and why what I did doesn't work. That's what I learned today because I went through the entire spectrum of emotions. I went from 13,800 points up to 14,500 and I was happy. I was like, oh yeah, my rank is getting bigger. I must be getting better. And then I lost 12 games in a row and I ended up back lower than I started. And at that point, at your lowest point, you realize that it wasn't about the rank at all. You didn't get better at all. You just beat a couple people. And so I went searching for answers. And for the first time ever, I read the Sonic Hurricane Guide to Footsies. And there's a little paragraph in there that I'm going to read for you right now that put everything into perspective. The easiest person to play footsies against is that intermediate player who hasn't quite given up on footsies, but doesn't play footsies to win. He doesn't move around much. He doesn't keep track of long-term patterns. And he plays almost exclusively on a reactionary level. He's not trying to get you to do anything specific. He's simply reacting to where you're standing. He doesn't think his footsies are good enough to help him win whole matches. He's being lazy. This is me to every single degree. Everything written in that paragraph applies to me and is how I play. This article was written 13 years ago, but it feels like he called me out 13 years in advance. After reading 10 chapters of the Footsie Handbook and learning all this cool stuff, this article at the end, in the epilogue that most people probably skipped, is what resonated with me the most and told me that I need to change something because it's not a coincidence that I'm playing like this. It's proven in fact and in time that this is a phase that players go through and I'm going through it. And I'll be damned if I get stuck here. And I went back and I read the whole guide again. And I took notes and I really made an effort to absorb some knowledge and really just implement it. And at the bottom of that epilogue, rule number 5 says, forget about winning or losing. Go all out or don't even bother. This is referring to the fact that I'm playing lazy, that I'm playing kind of half-assed. I'm not playing every facet of footsies. I'm playing what works, what sometimes works, and I'll get lucky and I might beat a couple people, and that makes me happy, which is disgusting to think about now, but in the moment, you see the little number go up and the announcer comes up and he says you won. How can you not be happy? But being a guy that chases rank and online warrior is not what I want to be. I want to be anything but that. And so I'm making an effort. I'm making a conscious effort to be a better student, to be somebody who is in the pursuit of knowledge and implementing that knowledge, and not in pursuit of these ranks that inflate your ego so much. As far as the handbook on footsies, I want to make some videos detailing the main ideas that I pulled away from it, but if you haven't read it yourself, do it. I'll link it down below. Click on it, go read all 10 chapters. It's not long. It'll take you like maybe 30 minutes, but it really makes you appreciate high-level footsies and understanding that you don't quite know everything about this neutral game that you thought you did. You know, things that might seem random or uncalculated are calculated to an extent. And every interaction to some level can be calculated or influenced in some way. You have more influence over your opponent than you think you do. And it's about wielding your influence through your button choice and through your movement to get them to swing and do what you want them to do, as well as not falling into their influence. That's how you play neutral, and all the techniques you'll need to navigate that game is in the Footsie Handbook.